When you go through a hard time, the easiest thing to do is say you feel terrible. You might call every uncomfortable feeling stress. But there are people with emotional clarity that go much deeper. They get incredibly better at understanding, managing, and even efficiently regulating their emotions. They know the difference between feeling generally awful and knowing exactly what is wrong. They look closely at their own mind. They might realize they are disappointed because a friend let them down, embarrassed because other people saw it happen, and anxious about tomorrow. This ability to be precise has a specific name in psychology. It is called emotional granularity. It means you can separate your feelings into distinct categories. Without it, you are trying to paint the picture with only 3 colors: anger, fear, and sadness. Giving a feeling a precise label helps you figure out how to fix it. If you call everything stress, you try to fix grief, guilt, fear, and anger with the same tool. Treating all these feelings the same way leads to bad reactions that rarely help. People who have become good at processing their emotions understand this. They know that before you give a feeling a psychological name, it starts as a whisper in your body. Emotionally observant people know the brain is often the last to realize what is going on. They pay close attention to physical sensations. They notice when their jaw muscles tighten or their breathing gets shallow. They feel the heat rising in their face. They catch the emotion while it is still small. Psychologists call this interoceptive awareness. It means you have the ability to notice, access, and interpret the internal signals of your body. It is a vital bridge connecting your physical sensations to your emotional experiences and actions. You might learn that a heavy chest always comes before deep sorrow, or you might learn that being physically tired makes frustrations feel 10 times worse. Reading your body perfectly is not always easy. A racing heart does not always mean you are terrified. You could just be excited, fighting off a cold, or full of coffee. Your body gives you clues, but not absolute truth. You must combine what your body tells you with what is actually happening around you. Once you notice that physical clue, the next step is putting it into words. This is called affect labeling. It means describing your internal emotional experience out loud or in your head. You might say, "I feel threatened right now," or "I feel deeply ashamed." Naming a feeling is not magic, and it will not make the pain disappear instantly, but it creates a little bit of distance. When you stop saying "I am angry" and start saying "I notice that I'm feeling anger," you change your relationship to the emotion. That tiny shift gives you room to make a choice. Part of making that choice is separating the raw feeling from the story your mind just made up. You might correctly notice that you feel anxious, but then your mind jumps to a huge conclusion, deciding something terrible is definitely about to happen. Or you might feel a flash of jealousy and instantly decide your partner is cheating. Emotionally clear people take their feelings seriously, but they do not automatically believe the fictional stories their mind invents. The emotional pain is entirely real, but the explanation needs to be fact-checked. And so to check the facts, they trace the steps that led to pain. They ask what exactly happened first. They ask what detail their mind focused on, and they look at how their body reacted. They know their distress comes from their cognitive appraisals. Appraisals are just the personal meanings and interpretations we give to situations. Let's say a friend cancels dinner. The event is just a canceled dinner. But if you conclude they do not care about you, you will feel rejected. If instead you conclude they are just incredibly busy, you might only feel mildly disappointed. The event is the same in both cases. The appraisal changes everything. When you figure out what meaning you gave an event, you stop seeing emotions as random attacks. You see them as reactions that make sense based on your thoughts. People who understand their emotions do something that sounds simple, but is actually hard. When they trace it all back, they let the emotion sit there. They practice emotional acceptance. This does not mean they enjoy the feeling. It does not mean they agree with an unfair situation or let people treat them badly. Acceptance just means letting the emotion exist inside you. You do not try to crush it immediately. You do not aggressively judge it or push it away. If you tell yourself you are jealous, and then you hate yourself for being jealous, you are fighting 2 battles at once. Acceptance stops that second battle. It lets the emotion into the room, but it does not give it the keys to the house. This boundary is so important. Understanding an emotion never means you have to blindly obey it. If you feel angry, you do not have to yell. If you feel scared, you do not have to run away. A feeling can be valid, but the action it wants you to take might be a terrible idea. This brings us to flexible emotion regulation, or regulatory flexibility. Emotion regulation is simply how we influence, experience, and manage our feelings. Being flexible means there is no single best way to handle every situation. Real emotional intelligence is knowing what to do right now in this specific context. Sometimes you should speak up directly and fix the problem. Other times it is much better to just walk away. Sometimes you just need to distract yourself until you calm down. Hiding your anger during an emergency might save your life, but chronically hiding every feeling from your partner will eventually destroy your relationship. A trick that works perfectly today might fail tomorrow. Sometimes things are just too intense for deep thinking. People who truly understand themselves know when their nervous system is on fire. When your emotional arousal is high, your brain cannot think clearly. You are much more likely to obsess and ruminate over the problem. Emotionally intelligent people know when their mind is ready to reflect, and when their body just needs a massive break. Sometimes the smartest thing you can do is admit you cannot solve the problem right now. You just need to sleep, take a walk, or take a few deep breaths. When the storm finally passes, you usually find that your feelings are quite messy. We can easily hold opposite feelings at the same time. You can feel really proud and totally terrified all at once. When you are emotionally fluent, you stop trying to force your messy reality into one neat box. This goes for good feelings too. This is called positive emotional granularity. People who know themselves do not just call every good moment happiness. They notice if they are feeling quiet contentment, fierce pride, deep awe, or gentle gratitude. Why does this matter? Because different good feelings make us want to do different things. Gratitude makes us want to connect with other people. Pride makes us want to work harder. Awe makes us want to appreciate the world. If you call it all happiness, you miss out on meaningful directions. It is also a huge comfort to know nobody is perfect at this. Psychologists talk about the difference between trait clarity and state clarity. Trait clarity is how well you generally understand your emotions over a long period of time. State clarity is how well you understand them right now, in this exact moment. If you are exhausted, sick, or stressed, your state clarity will naturally drop. That is perfectly normal. Emotionally intelligent people are not completely clear all the time. They are brave enough to say out loud when they're confused. They turn the blame of, "you are the problem," into the honesty of, "here is what happened inside me." They do not let a temporary feeling become a permanent definition of who they are. Understanding your emotions does not mean controlling every single feeling you ever have. It just means knowing what you feel and why it might be there. It means knowing that you do not have to obey it. Emotional maturity begins when a feeling stops being your enemy. It stops being an absolute command. It simply becomes useful information that helps you build a much better life.